What's up, y'all? It's Isaiah B. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to my channel. I appreciate you guys for liking, sharing, commenting, anything, man, wholeheartedly. It means a lot. So without further ado, let's get right into the topic. As you guys know, I do not like to waste any time. So today, we're going to be talking about your job versus your purpose. Your job versus your purpose. It's important that we discuss this, this distinction between the two. And I would first like to go into your job. So, a job is a position, a responsibility, a requirement that you be in a certain space for a certain amount of hours, And there's various jobs, as you guys know. You could be a teacher, a mechanic, a firefighter, electrician, It can vary. But so can the experiences that one feels when they're in a certain position, when they're holding a certain job. So you'll have one who loves their job, whether it's because of the pay, it's because of the responsibilities, whether it's due to their coworkers, the short commute, the benefits, that can vary as well, and each person's likes can be different. But it can also be bad. People can often dread their jobs. And that can be due to the opposite of the reasons that I named. So one can have a long commute, can hate their coworkers, can not like their pay, cannot like their benefits. That can vary. And let's be honest, in this society that we live in, more times than not, more people hate their job than like their job. Most people dread going to work. Most people dread punch their clock. Most people dread being told what to do, and being at someone's beck and call. Most people can't stand it. But there's bills, Those kids got to eat, Things have to be paid on time, you see. So hence why people work jobs, and go into careers, But on the other hand, there's your purpose. Your purpose. This is what you're passionate about. This is what you're heavily intrigued by. This is where you seem like you were in in your frame of mind, completing a task revolving around your purpose, and time just flew. Almost like when you were a kid and you was outside playing with your friends, you checked your watch that was on your wrist, your Spider-Man, your Scooby-Doo watch, and it said 1:00. Next thing you know, you guys playing, you playing basketball, what have you. Next thing you know, it's 8:00 at night, You supposed to come home before the streetlights came on, but, where that time flew, almost like someone was secretly stealing time, but you were so much in flow with what you were doing. That, my friend, is what it feels like once you're fulfilling your purpose. What it feels like once you found your calling. What it feels like once you know what you were born to do. And that can vary from each person, you know. That can vary. One person can be passionate about human services. Someone else can be passionate about being creative. One could be passionate about living mindfully. Someone else can have, you know, a totally different passion. So, as I said, they vary, you know. They vary, but they are important, nevertheless, for the simple fact that they give one a sense of direction, you know. They allow you to build and structure a life, making sure that you're fulfilling whatever that purpose is, you know. It's almost like if you had a trainer, right? Now, he's a master trainer, which means he's able to provide you with various amounts of training, various types of training regimens and specialties, you know, and he comes up to you and asks you, what are you training for? You know, and you could tell him different options, you know. You could tell him that you're either training for basketball. You could tell him you're training for boxing. You could tell him you're training for the Olympics, you know. So your options and your training is going to depend on whatever you tell him, you know. And your body will start to shape and start to move in a direction of what you're trying to accomplish, you know. So you'll have basketball players who are doing basketball drills. The master trainer would have the person work on passing, dribbling, shooting, defending, you know. So the person's body would be shaped and molded to make sure that those drills would be more efficient, you know, when he's doing them, you see, as opposed to an NFL linebacker who's working with the master trainer. He's not working on dribbling. He's not working on shooting, you know. He's working on tackling, you know. He's working on intercepting, you see. He's working on pass rushing, you see. So that's what your purpose gives you. It gives you a sense of direction, you know, similar to a compass, you know. And that's the biggest difference, you know, between a job and your purpose. That's the biggest distinction. It's the simple fact that a job is a position that one can be given, and your purpose is your calling. You know, anybody can get a job, but not everybody can do your purpose. You know, if someone gave you a job as an accountant right now, you know, forget your feelings about if you like it or dislike it. You're able to do it. You know, if someone were to train you to complete the responsibilities of an accountant, you would be able to do it physically. You know, you'd be able to hold that position. But when it comes to something that is internal, you know, something that your spirit is calling for you to do, that's not something that everybody can do. You know, everybody can't do what you can do. You know, they simply can't. Like for me, my purpose is human services. It's helping others. And with me being in psychology and counseling and personal training, there's no one who understands people like I do. You know, there's certain things I'm able to see from across the room, and not only see it, but to understand why it is the way it is. You know, that's my gift. That's what I bring to the world. Using that psychology and showing people how to improve or to help them with something that they're trying to accomplish. That's what I bring to the world. You know, and no one can do that in the fashion that I can do it. You see? So it's important to find out what your purpose is, as opposed to just having a job, to just having your career, you know? And one more thing, for the simple fact that anybody could take your job away, anybody could destroy your career, but no one can take your purpose away. No one can internally go inside of you and say you're no longer interested in being creative. You're no longer going to be working on helping others. That's done. You know, that's never going to happen. The only way it'll happen is if you do it. You know, that's the only way it'll happen. You know, and it's important too that you find your purpose. You know, find what you're interested in, find what you're called to do. You know, don't just work a job. You know, don't just work a job. Granted, there are going to be times where your job, your purpose can be the same thing, but for most people, their job and their purposes are not always the same thing. You know, not always the same thing. And that leads people to be so unhappy and so miserable. You know, they're so miserable because they're doing something just to pay bills, you know, as opposed to doing something that you love. And it takes one internally to be able to find what they love. You know, that's something you're not going to learn in school. That's not something that your parents are going to teach you, that your friends are going to teach you. That's something that you have to make sure that you're on, you know. You have to make sure that you're on that. Right? So that's it, y'all. That's all I got. You know, wanted to go into the distinction between your job versus your purpose. You know, if any questions, feel free to leave them at the bottom. This was a very interesting topic, and I was very pleased to be able to share this information with you guys. I'm going to continue to post these videos, going to continue to share my expertise, my knowledge, my experience on the various topics that I'm covering. So that's it, man. That's all I got. I appreciate you guys again. You know, I like to say things multiple times. That way you guys get the message. And that's it, you guys. Take care.